Soul Society. We coming from the soul with the God Box, the man.
It's
himself,
our second time too.
David Banner.
Your hair was a little bit shorter last time.
Yeah, it's a part of the symbolism of the growth.
Word.
So, how you feel about the night? Well,
Man,
first and foremost,
yeah.
greatly appreciate you coming out
you.
and building with us and
Thank
putting that energy into our community, and we're gonna make sure we carry this vibration, you know, to another level.
What made it made me happy, first of all, that I'm here with y'all the second time because I watched y'all grow, and to be a part of it the second go around, and then to see the growth, to see y'all get into another building, to see the fact that y'all kept going and y'all keep going, because I think sometimes as Black people, we saw white supremacy so much, and it's so powerful in the fact that it's, you know, been built on free labor and pain and all of these things. And a lot of times we compare ourselves to them when, number one, we're not that diabolical. We hadn't had years of slavery behind us, and we don't have a systematic system. Like I was saying today on the stage, the fact that our kids are tuned in to their phones and their television that support that each and every day. We don't have mechanisms out here that support what you all are teaching. So the fact that y'all did not quit, the fact that it is still growing, the fact that I'm still here, you know what I'm saying? It means something, and I'm proud of you all.
For sure. So tell the people in your own words, your own perspective, who are you and how do you want to be remembered?
My name is David Banner. Just want to be known. This is how I always describe myself to people. I want to be a man that other men want to have in a battle with them. I want to be a man that kids would want their father to be like or to be. And that women would say, like, I would want my husband to be like him. You know, I want to be an example of manhood, Black manhood, because it's different. African manhood is different. And it's my perspective is changing a little bit now because I don't want to be in nobody's box. I was telling somebody recently, I was really close to being one of the like premier so-called leaders. I don't want to be that. I just want to speak the truth. And I think it's more effective for me to be amongst the people. I think, you know, everybody always tell me to shun being a rapper, like be an activist or be a philanthropist. No, my freedom is that I'm a rapper. I can say whatever the hell I want to say, do whatever I want to do. And I always tell my brothers, like, I can bring some of the kids to the nation. I can bring some of the kids to you all. I can move freely, bro. I can do whatever I want to, but I had started painting myself in a box. And the only box I want to be in is the God box. For sure. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, for me, man, I just want to be remembered as someone who loved his people. The other thing I would say is, and me and you had this conversation, we're not going to go into what we talked about personally, but they always talk about what Black men are not, even if it's just me. And I know because I got brothers around me now. I know I ain't the exception to the rule. One dude told me, man, I want to give up on our people, man. Ain't nobody real. And I said, you real, huh? He said, yeah. And you just said I was real, right? He's like, yeah. So, well, if it's two of us and we're working with something, I just want to be the example of somebody that was right. Like today, I know I go beyond what other hosts do. I know that I do that. But I want to do that for y'all. Like, so many rappers, man, and so many actors, so many people, they get in Black productions and show their butts. We ain't bottom of church, so I can't be the normal David Banner that I usually be. Brother Edward Muhammad say, we got to start respecting sacred ground, so I really want to cuss, but I can't. Or I can, but I won't. But like, we're late for Black productions. We go to BET Awards, regardless of how we feel about any of these places, it still represents Black people. People used to get mad at me because I used to show up to the BET. I was one of the first people to show up to the BET Awards dressed up. And people say, why are you doing that? I said, regardless of how we feel, it still says Black entertainment. And you go over there to them white folks and you spend all your money giving your best to them, why not give that to BET? Whether they deserve it or not means nothing, but they wear the moniker of Black entertainment. And until they shun that, we have to represent that way. Matter of fact, Megan Good told me, she's like, David Banner, you got to start coming back to the Soul Train Awards too. Regardless of how they treat us, that don't matter. Our kids still look to them as that being black, even in my company. You know who no lie, I'm not on the level that they are now, but when you go upstairs, ask Salih who I compete with. Whenever my employees come to me and ask me, is this good enough? I always ask them, would Apple do that? And if you say no, then it ain't good enough for me. Because people think that black or African means cheap. When in actuality, most of the resources that most of these white people use comes from us and our land. So that it's our responsibility to not only, that's the reason why I hosted like I did tonight. I want y'all stuff to pop. Respect. I want it to pop, and then everybody else gonna have to pay me triple. No, y'all pay me. But now, like, for real, bro, it's a certain amount of class. Like, bro, when y'all spoil libations and everything, bro, that meant the world to me, bro. That shook me a little bit. Because sometimes, bro, I be out in this world so much that I get disconnected from some of the things that I need to be a part of. And sometimes, like I told you today, we leave with our spirits malnourished. So sometimes we need to see it to bring us back to where we need to sort of ground ourselves again.
So I want to ask also, so you talk about like the foundation or coming into consciousness for you was around 11th grade.
Yeah.
Like what was it in that period of life that caused that transformation, and who was some of your inspiration?
Well, I tell you exactly who it is. It was the book from the Broader File. Okay. And it's funny because I sell that book now, David.
You read that at 11th grade?
Read that at 11th. I actually stole the book. So I'm actually going to do a documentary on this. It's crazy. The rapper Everlast, who was in House of Pain, song Jump Around. Jump Around, Jump Around. You will. You go back and that's dope though. He is crazy. That he had a Pete Rock remix of Jump Around, the song Jump Around. And in the South, that was almost impossible to get. And I got my hands on it. It was on a maxi single. I know a lot of y'all don't even know what a maxi single is. But I went to Chicago for the summer, and my cousin stole my CD because he knew I had to go back to Mississippi on the train that day. So he went to work, and he took the CD with him. But it was this book he carried around everywhere he went. And my cousin was a gangbanger. So the fact that he had a book, I was like, what the hell that book is? So I took his book. And so I sat down on the train, and it was From the Broader Files by Anthony Browder. And I was like, man, what the hell? And one thing, and I want to be the kind of writer Anthony Browder is. Actually, it's 22 essays. So none of the chapters is any longer than 4 pages. So like, it's no reason why we can't, even kids with these short memories and short attention span. I read that whole book from Chicago to Jackson, Mississippi on the train. It changed the whole course of my life. And it was simple. He's similar to Malcolm. He don't use big words. A lot of people who conscious, they really be showing out. If you really about your people, you speak in your people's tongue, and they already don't want to be conscious. So why you gonna make it hard by speaking hard words that don't nobody know? As smart as I am, you know how I speak. As a matter of fact, on my podcast, I lower my speech on purpose. I make a few grammatical mistakes just to let people know it's okay, so that it makes them comfortable. Anyway, so I read that book. It changed it. It shook I believe it changed me at a molecular level, bro. Like my body changed. Yeah. And then about 2 weeks after that, I read Malcolm X's autobiography.
That's what did it for me.
And I haven't been the same my whole entire life. Now, what I can say about consciousness and the mistake that I think most people make about consciousness, can I say nigga? Is that like a bad word? I was still doing nigga stuff. Because the thing about consciousness without the ability to eat, consciousness without the mental space to digest it, is just a whole bunch of words. So I had the information, I was conscious, but I couldn't apply it until 10, 20 years later. Right. I started seeing it, because I tell people I do that. All I want to do It's raised markers in your head. I don't want to change your life because, to be honest, none of us know even the stuff that we believe if it's really true or not. Right. I tell people all the time, I don't know what the truth is, but I do know the lie. I can tell you what the lie is easy. I know the stuff that they teach us is a lie. I know that for a fact. So those two books changed my life, and then through that, it set the foundation for the other things that I came in contact with. And I want to leave you with this. I was going to say this on stage, and I forgot about it. Do you remember the person who taught you how to ride a bike? Do you all remember the person who taught you how to ride a bike? You remember the person who taught you how to tie your shoes?
I remember that.
Those are markers in your life, right? You remember your favorite rap song when you was in the 7th grade? 8th grade? 9th grade?
Probably like Lil Wayne was probably.
Probably, but you don't know for sure, right?
Nah, I can't.
Okay. I realize that if you can be the person who allows or helps someone to be conscious, they will remember you for the rest of their life. They might not remember your song. If you think about the 60s, I personally believe the 60s was the most rich period in recent human history as it pertains to black people. They only talk about one person, maybe James Brown. Maybe James Brown. But they always talk about Martin and Malcolm. And they would talk about them for the rest of time. And they probably, both of them died broke. So for me, if you help change the way that people think, they will never forget you. And you may not be the richest person in the world, but you'll never die hungry. Somebody will feed you. You feel me? I got one more question, then I gotta go.
I got one more question. So you talk about like a major issue is the fact that we don't love ourselves. Mm-hmm. Of course, that transitions into the whole collective community. You don't love nobody outside of yourself if you don't love yourself. Mm-hmm. What do you think is like, and from your perspective, what are some of the reasons why, and what do we need to do to overcome this like self-hate we have for ourselves?
Well, bro, I don't want to go into the reasons why because it'll go for so long, and that's one of the few things that actually makes me nervous. I don't get nervous. They are doing so much to us. I sort of look at it. Y'all ever seen a butterfly that fall into an ant bed? Mm-hmm. That's how it is now. Like, bro, they playing with our food, our history, our education. The main thing is we don't know who we are. We don't have a foundation, so we are all over the place. We every religion, we everything. Think about this. I told somebody this recently, and in no way am I being disrespectful to anybody in black organizations. But for the most part, not all organizations, Brother Caleb, because I know you'll get on me when I get in the car. But most black organizations, they change what they stand on. Like they start one thing, and 10 years later, they something else. The Ku Klux Klan hates Negroes and Jewish people, period. That will never change. Sure. I don't care how much they shine it up, that won't change. But we sway for whoever's the most powerful people at the time. And we sway, and we don't stand on nothing. One thing that I can possibly say in my fight against white folks, or the evil ones, they respect me and who stand. They respect the minister. They respected Malcolm. They respect any man that stands. Now, they might try to kill him or kill him, but at least you want to be respected as a man or a woman. Like, dude, we don't stand for nothing, bro. Like, our kids are all over the place. And I meant to say this is what I wanted to close with. But I wanted to say, man, and I see from me dealing with these children, when we deal with these children, especially the black men, they just want to see somebody that stand for something. Most men are scared of these children. How can you clean up the black community and you ain't respected in your home? How can you clean up the black community and you ain't respected on your street? Men are going to have to find a way to be men, period. Outside of anybody else, outside of our women, outside of our children, amongst ourselves. If we can't stand out on the corner, I'm writing a movie right now about a black man who took back over his community. And he came outside, and the first thing he did when he decided it's sort of like a black Rambo. He stood out on the corner and he told the dope dealers, he said, look, I know you got to hustle. You sell dope on this street, you're going to die. And everybody thought he was playing. He came out the next day. Pop, pop. I'm not playing. Go anywhere you want to go, but not here. It used to be that way in our communities. In New York, bro, didn't they have places that were safe zones? Mr. Charlie's Barbershop, we ain't selling dope there. We ain't shooting nobody there. In Mississippi, when I was young, you didn't sell dope to pregnant women or little children, or you would die. The dope dealers would kill you. Now, it's whoever got the bag. Right. But my generation told them kids that, and that's part of the reason why I work so hard. We told our kids money over everything. Now we mad because that they'll do anything for money. They'll put on anything, wear anything, say anything. Because it was cool to tell them to get money, but not over culture, not over our women, not over our God, not over, bro. I read a Buddhist, I was reading a Buddhist a book one time, and they said if nothing embarrasses you, you're no better than a dog. If you will do anything at any time, you are worthless. You're worse than spit on the ground. I'll leave you with this. No, first, David Banner Podcast. Subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating. David Banner Podcast, www.davidbanner.com. Brother Caleb, give him the website to your business. Turn the camera on him. He don't like that.
No, don't do that.
Keep it on, Brother Caleb. Just give him your website real quick.
Visionsbydesign.shop.
Yeah. When y'all see the embroidery on our jackets, that's that brother right there. See, we flipping over the black dollar. I wanted to see that.
Visions by Design.
But what I was going to say was, in closing, bro, is that at some point, bro, we have to teach our children that, and my dad taught me this, what makes you a man is not what you will do for money. It's what you won't do. We always are enthralled with the stuff. What will you do? What will you do? What will you do? A dog could do anything. A pig could do or eat anything. What makes you a god is fasting. It's what you won't do. It's where you won't put your penis. Or where you won't open your legs up to. That's it.
1 minute.
Follow.
I was done anyway.
Hey, appreciate you. Follow S.O.U.L Society NC on Instagram. And let's come together. Let's build this village. Let's rebuild the village. This one nation, one love.
I'm proud of you, man.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
I'm
good, man. We did it again.
Another one.
Let my people